one of you guys asked this very important question in the comments, and me being the gracious operator I am, not only will I be answering his questions, but I'm also going to be building out this offer, right? So the question is trying to start a basketball online business. I'm 16, still in school, and my friends are in my Discord server where I'm trying to nurture my audience so that I can sell them. Do you think I should kick them out from the server or keep them in? The only reason why I'm considering keeping them in is because I only have a few real members. So, what should I do? Well, first of all, why would you kick them out? Right? Because when we're running communities, right, the the attraction mechanism of a community is the fucking community, right? So if you barely have anybody in there, right, and it's free, why would you kick people out? Why would you kick them out? Like, there's no, well, you guys have to start thinking from a standpoint of like second order consequences, right? Stop thinking about okay the immediate outcome, right? Because for every decision there are consequences to those decisions, but those consequences have consequences, right? So it's like, okay, you kick these people out. What's the second order consequence of that? You don't have anybody in that community. So what's the third order consequence of not having anybody in that community? Oh, people are not going to value it as much because there's nobody to interact with. What's the fourth order consequence of that? Okay, people don't value it as much because there's not a lot of people in there, right? Then you're gonna have a harder times getting sales, right, or marketing the offer. So that's the first thing. Is like you, you literally have no benefit. It doesn't benefit you at all to kick them out. But now let's that I've answered that immediate question. Let's start thinking about okay, how do we actually craft this off, right? So first things first, where most people mess up is that they just build out all the stuff for the offer as far as like the attraction mechanism, the nurturing mechanism, the actual offer itself. But the first question you have to ask yourself is who are you selling to? What is the audience composition? Because how you sell to a grandma is not going to be the same way that you sell to somebody that's 20 years old. It's just not. So the first question you ask yourself is who am I trying to sell to? From my understanding of your situation, the target demographic are high school kids or teenagers actually, high school teens. It'll be better if I fucking type this shit right. So how do I increase the size of this shit? Okay, so high school teens, right, and interested in basketball. So we have the target audience now, right? Now we can start thinking about what we can do to attract this this avatar. All right. Even this is still too broad. There's just I don't have enough a lot of information about I just don't have a lot of information, so I guess I'm just going to wing it, right? Um, how I view this, right? There's two angles we can take, right? We can either, and this just goes into like planning. We can either target the teens themselves, or we can target the teens' parents. Because at the end of the day, right, we're not doing this for fun. We're doing this to make money, right? So we have to target the people that have money, right? Unless you just want to like be broke the rest of your fucking life. If you want to be broke or with the, I can't. I don't believe in making guarantees, but there's one thing I can guarantee: you will be broke for the rest of your life as long as you continue to target people that have no fucking money. That's one thing I can guarantee to you. All right. So this idea of targeting the teams themselves, yeah, get that shit the fuck out of here. Get out of there. I'm not talking to broke people. All right. So we are targeting the teen's parents. Now that we have the audience, we have to ask ourselves, okay, what is the offer? Okay, basketball. You see that's still unclear, and that's the problem with a lot of offer owners, a lot of coaches, a lot of people that try to get in to make money online space. They just have unclear offers, right? You're trying to start a basketball online. What the fuck does that mean? Are you helping people get scholarships for basketball? Are you helping people increase their shooting skills? Or what the fuck is the offer, right? And I bring this to your attention, and I'm specifically making this video because these are the type of questions that you need to ask yourself before you even start doing none of this shit. Because what's going to happen is you're going to make out this whole entire product. You're going to make this Discord, you're going to put on this work, you're going to put all these modules, and then nobody's going to buy. And the reason why nobody's going to buy is because you didn't put in the work to figure out what people want to buy. Earlier I told you I don't make promises to people. I don't make guarantees because those are like there's nothing guaranteed, but there is something I can guarantee to you, right? If you sell something that nobody's buying, you will be poor. So we have to ask yourself, what are people buying, right? So let's just keep this a little bit more simple. So let's say we're selling the parents of these teens, and let's say these parents are a little bit more affluent, and they want let me give me a second. I might cut this out. It'll give me a second to think of a good angle to attack to attack this from. Right there we go. I just thought of something. Right. So what? How I keep in mind, this is how I would sell it, because the way you're trying to sell it is like you're trying to sell to the teens themselves who are poor, and you will not make any fucking money selling to teens. You're gonna be broke, right? How I would sell this offer, right? So this is just completely getting rid of your Discord idea, right? Is I would target the teens' parents, and my offer would be teach your child teamwork and discipline through the sport of basketball. Right? Now, why do these people care about this? Because we have to think about who I'm targeting. I'm not targeting broke parents, right? I'm targeting the more affluent. Now, more affluent people, they care about their their children being able to secure good jobs. They care about their children being able to financially provide for themselves. They care about their children being functioning members of society. And one of those sub skills is just being able to work in a team with different people, right? And being able to be extremely disciplined, right? And those are the things that they care about subliminally, but the mechanism for how they teach their kid that is through the sport of basketball, right? So now we have just like the overall like method. We have the target audience, and then we have the angle of approach, right? So now we can start talking about what we're going to use to actually make this work. So there are three parts to a business. There's attraction, conversion, and fulfillment, right? So we have to create systems for attracting the client. We have to create a system for converting the client, and then we have to create a system for fulfillment. The mistake a lot of people make, especially in this make money online space, is that they focus all their time on attracting the client, which is extremely fucking important, right? The pitfall of that is that they do not put as much time into the product, which is the fulfillment system, right? But the best piece of marketing that you could ever have is the product, right? But this is just a small caveat. We're not gonna get really that deep into it in this video because it's just me answering a quick question. But let's start building out these systems, right? So let's think of an attraction system. We're talking about parents here. Where do these people hang out? So we're talking about a middle age, I would say 40, 35 to 50 year olds, right? Where do they hang out, right? Where do these people hang out? Do they hang out? right? You can They hang out on Facebook. Um, they hang out on, I would say some of them hang out on YouTube, right? I wouldn't say they are on Instagram that much because I'm thinking about my father. My father and my mom are not on Instagram that much. They're definitely not on TikTok either. All right, so Facebook, YouTube, they're reading news posts and blogs, posts and posts, blogs, right? So now we have like a list of how do I want to phrase this? We have a list of hangout spots that we can target, right? So now we can choose one of them, right? Of like, okay, we know this is who we're targeting, right? This is what we want to sell them, right? And this is where these people hang out. Keep in mind, this is just going off the top of my head, right? Let's now we choose one of these, right? Copy, and like, okay, we want to target them specifically on Facebook, right? So now we ask ourselves, how do we target them? How can we target them on Facebook, right? We can run ads, organic posts. Yeah, this is kind of. We can do communities. Okay, and now we have a couple more options, right? So now we have, okay, we're targeting. Let's get more specific here, right? 35 to 50-year old parents, right? And what we're selling them is we're going to sell them like the idea of teaching your child teamwork and discipline through the sport of basketball, right? And we're going to attract them using Facebook, and specifically on Facebook, we are going to run ads, and we're going to run ads. So let's highlight this green. We're going to run ads, right? Because ads are extremely controllable, right? So we have the attraction mechanism, right? Now we have to ask yourself, okay, what is the conversion mechanism? And then this goes back into the offer, right? Are we sending them straight to a landing page where it's like direct to cart, where they just click and then we have upsell, a whole bunch of upsells? Are we getting them on calls? What are we actually doing here, right? So, and it's a lot of people at this point will try to tell you a very cookie cutter answer. I was like, oh, you have to do high ticket, or oh, you have to do low ticket. And I just think that's just wrong. It's just a wrong way to look at it. Right. The correct answer is like, okay, what would this demographic respond to the most? Right. Specifically for our offer. Right. So teaching your child teamwork and discipline through the sport of basketball. Right. There's how we can do this is we can run ads. Right. To a low ticket landing page. Right. We can run ads to a low ticket landing page. And actually, let's actually start creating blocks. You can run ads, and I'll make this just a little bit prettier for you guys because I know you guys on YouTube are little sissies, right? So let's say targeting, just to bring you back. Okay, I just turned this into basically this, so it could be a lot more clear. So targeting 35 to 50-year-old parents, selling them the idea of teaching their child teamwork and discipline through the sport of basketball because we know this demographic, especially if they're of higher influence or affluence. These people want their kids to be productive members of society and to be able to provide for themselves. And in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to work as a team and be disciplined, right? These people hang out predominantly through all of these sources right here. But we're going to focus on attracting them on Facebook using ads. And then those ads are going to lead to, and this is what we're going to start building out now. So those ads can lead to, let's say we take those ads and they lead to low ticket offer, right? Of just basic skills, just a basic skill, right? So this could be shooting, this could be dribbling, this could be passing, this could be whatever, right? This could be like either even a video or a workout or whatever, right? So you can put them into a low ticket, but as soon as they purchase the low ticket, there's an ascension or an upsell, and they upsell into a complete boot camp, right? So this boot camp is basically, how do I explain this right? So imagine you have this, and this is a concept called offer truncation, right? Where you take a big offer and you like put it all into like smaller pieces, right? So let's say we have shooting. Like these are all the low ticket stuff they could buy. So we have shooting, we have dribbling, we have passing, we have um, basketball IQ, right? So these are all the separate low ticket offers that they could purchase, right? And they can either purchase them individually. Oh my god, this is gonna piss me off. You can either purchase them individually, right? For let's say a price point of like $29 or $50, or I wouldn't go all the way up to 50 to $100, not on this offer, right? But as soon as they purchase, right, what you can do is let's say somebody purchases a shoot low ticket offer. As soon as they make this purchase, you will send them into the complete boot camp, which is all these put together and then some extra bonuses, blah 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 blah, right? For now, instead of when you of charging $29, right, you're charging $5.99, so five $600, right? And now you just completed the ascension. And let's say somebody does purchase this as well, then what you can do is that you can ascend them one more time, right, into what you really want to ascend them, which would be a high ticket offer, which would be something like, how would a high ticket offer work here? Like college placement, I guess, right? Placement in college, or I want to say placement in college, right? Which is like um, player development, with the goal of getting them a scholarship, right? And then how this would look like is like, okay, this is weekly coaching, right? Um, where the kid or the child is like practicing every single week with a dedicated coach with the goal of getting them to basically a scholarship, right? And then this could be a high ticket offer. So this is how I would structure this idea. And like I said, I know you wanted to sell it to like Discord, but like I said, you will be selling to broke people, right? I can't make any guarantees. You'll never sit here and hear me make a guarantee, but I can guarantee that if you sell to broke people, you will be fucking broke. That's why I completely ditched the idea of selling to the teens themselves and like, okay, let's target the parents with the money and then create an offer stack that will do this. And I think a low ticket offer will work here. It can be tested. So low ticket is the front end. So ads lead to the low ticket, right? And since ads lead to the low ticket, you're not really trying to make your money on the low ticket, right? The low ticket would just liquidate ad spend, right? And you're really just trying to uh, basically make your money on the ascension, right? And then you would calculate the efficacy of this funnel by AOV contributions, right? So let's say, and this is just getting really technical. Let's say you have a landing page and it's converting at like 5%, right, to the low ticket, and then it has an AOV of like I don't fucking know, like let's say $700, right? Let's say you change it, and then your conversion on the landing page itself goes from 5% to 3%, but your AOV goes from $700 to $1,300, right? Like an unsophisticated marketer would look at that and be like, "Oh my CTR dropped. Oh my god, I gotta fix my landing page." But when you look at it from like AOV contributions, yes, your CTR dropped, but your average order value doubled. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want a perfect CTR, or do you want more money per customer? Right. These are just tiny nuances. I won't get super in depth about that, but that is essentially how I would turn, unfortunately, this shitty ass idea into something that actually makes a fuck ton of money. Hope you enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you want a breakdown of like a core growth operating skill that your a mentor unfortunately has not taught you, click this video right here.